Welcome back to the Steamers podcast. I am your host, along with your GM, head coach, and basically we got Ethan on. Ethan, what's up?
What's up, guys? Glad to be here.
Mm, Very glad to have you on. I guess my first question for you is I've been wondering this too. Is Justin, is he handling the trades for you, or like are you doing that yourself, free agency, kind of give us a rundown on how that's going on, because I'm sure we're all wondering, what's going on. Is he the GM? Is he the head coach? Give us a little background of what he's doing.
Yeah, I hired him as a GM, so that's exactly what he's gonna do. And I told him, I said, um, "Hey, do you want to run the trades for this organization?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, "Okay." I trust him enough as to where I think that he can make good trades for the team, and so far he's done that to my liking. And the draft, me and him are working together, and I'm the head coach of the team, so I would run everything that involves the Elks players and all of that things that lead us up into the game. Justin's just more of the trade guy, and yeah, but I'm definitely happy that he's on board, and he's a much better trader than I am, so kind of helps out.
Awesome, awesome. And we all know he made the Wagner trade, probably one of the big moves, one of the first moves in the offseason. Kind of, I wanted to give your thoughts on that trade too. Like, what was your thoughts on it when he first made it for the Steamers? Obviously, he's not with us anymore, but what did you think of the trade?
Um, well, you get a great quarterback. He's not. He's not young, but he's not super old, and he's definitely scary, and I'm not gonna want to game plan against him. I feel like that's gonna be really tough to do. But um, you guys gave up a decent cornerback, and you guys gave up a second round pick, which I think is fair. I think it was a really fair trade. Um, we'll have to see who really won that trade down the line. If um if Trey Allen for the Sentinels doesn't work out, then then you definitely won. But we will just have to see when the season comes around.
We will have to see. And going on to my next question here for you is who was that quarterback you signed? I can't remember his name for the life of me.
It's Simon Tilsky.
Yeah. Uh, what? Uh, I'm looking for the right words here. What did you think of signing him? Like, you already had Kyle Bain, and I'm just wondering, why did you sign him? It's
Um, I mean, the goal is to just get better as a team, and when the best quarterback in free agency is out there and he's at 96 overall, I'm I'm going after him. I mean,
yeah,
especially because Kyle Bain is he's not even an 80 overall right now. I know that overalls don't matter and stuff like that, and I know how good he's played, but I'm gonna take a 96 overall over an 80 or over a 78 all day, and I just saw a great chance to improve our team and some time and some more time for Kyle Bain to develop under a great quarterback. So this is definitely and I think also just helps me out as a coach because um, I made a big move and I did something that like not a lot of other people were gonna do. He was a lot of money, but I'm fine with that because I'm trying to make the playoffs in my first year. It's like,
totally. That's what we're all trying to do. Unfortunately for us, it's not really looking too bright. But if Wagner plays, like maybe a Tom Brady or something, maybe we'll get into the playoffs. But you just never know. I My next question is, do you think Kyle Bain is overrated? Now, what I mean by that is, I know he's going to be a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but do you think he's overrated? Do you think Mark game planned him just right to make him like shine? Was it more of the Thunderbirds defense that won them that Super Bowl? Give me your thoughts on that because that could be big if something were to happen to the quarterback you sign.
Um, I mean, I think Mark just put so much time into this league, and that when LC3 went down, Kyle Bain was just there, and he was kind of the same player. So I think Kyle Bain is not overrated, and the Thunderbirds defense is really good. But yeah, he's definitely not overrated, and I'm not saying that because he's my quarterback next year or anything, but um, yeah, I don't think he's a system guy, and I think that he can thrive on almost any team. Just um, I think what we're gonna the system for him is just we gotta we gotta give him the best chance to succeed, and that's what we're doing right now. We're planning for the future, and also our defense is pretty good. We just gotta improve a couple spots there. So and towards the end, you were talking about if something were to happen, and he would be the starter, and I am completely ready for that to happen. If Telsky goes down, Kyle Bain is ready, and I know that he can step in and play at the MVP level. So we'll see.
Awesome, awesome. I think I'm gonna hit you with a tough question here. I'm gonna steal what Mexico City is gonna ask me. Spoiler alert for anyone who's gonna watch Steamer's Q&A probably later. Uh, do you find yourself on the hot seat? You are building to win, correct? This season and next season, right?
I mean, I'm always trying to win. I'm always trying to build so I can continue winning for seasons on.
Do you think your job is on the hot seat if, say, you were to go winless this year and next year, maybe score 2 wins?
Um, I mean, with how good this team can be, and with the amount of great players that we have on this team, I think definitely. But for me, that's just basically impossible. I don't see a unless like all of our players get hurt. There's just no way that we would get winless in this season or next season. But I mean, definitely, I think you can do that for any team. If any team goes winless or has a terrible season, any coach would be on the hot seat, especially a couple of the playoff teams last year that are going to be really good. So
Yeah, I think if every like any team who goes winless, I think deserves a second chance. If you win a couple games, I think 2 years. If you only win a couple games 2 years, go 8-8, 9-7. I still think you deserve a third chance to kind of prove yourself. But three strikes, it's out. We all know this. And are you maybe a little worried that your team, won't go out there and do the things that they need to do? Or are you really confident that your team can go out there and get the job done?
I mean, there's always a sense of fear and worriness in almost any coach, especially when you're in the NFC. Which I mean, the AFC is very good, but the NFC has some great coaches and some great teams. So it's scary for I think even Mark. It's scary, and like because I mean, one injury to or a couple injuries to some guys can just end your whole season right there. So I mean, yeah, I'm scared, but it's not like I'm confident, but there's still a bit of fear as to that I'm gonna underperform. But I got faith in my guys, and I think that they're gonna go out there and they're gonna have a great season.
We also have to remember that this is, Madden, so anything can happen at any time. I do have 4 first round picks next year. All of those could be top 10. We don't know. I highly doubt. I think if any team is going to be top 10, I think it's the Condors, and I think that's highly unlikely with the trade getting for them getting Nickens. And I also want to get your thoughts on that. the Nickens trade real quick, and I'll resume what I was gonna say.
Well, I haven't really had a chance to look at the guys that the Condors traded, but I mean, if you're trading for Ronnie Nickens, there's definitely you definitely have to move a couple players, and I mean, I think Mark right now is just trading for guys that he know are gonna fit his scheme, and I think Buki's just trying to get those guys that can really help change his team. I don't think it changes the Condors a bit. I mean, the Condors might make the playoffs again, and I think they definitely can. Um, but I don't see him going far even with the Nickens trade. He's not, to me, he is not a guy that you can give the ball to 20 or 30 times a game and just have him rush for 200 yards every game. He's not that type of player. And I mean, yeah.
So he's not a Darius Martin.
No one is a Darius Martin.
uh, in my opinion, I think he made an excellent trade here. He needed a running back. He got one. In my opinion, this is my opinion, let alone, I think Nickens is close, very close to being the best running back in the RFL. You got, Darius Martin's is up there too, obviously, but I it's going to be interesting to see who's a better running back this year because now you got the Nickens is going to get a lot of touches with the Condors, no doubt about it. And it's all about the scheme he runs because if he could run a scheme to where you have two running backs, you give the ball to two running backs a lot. So, but back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of trades in this league. Can you break down some of them that you liked and that you disliked, in your honest opinion?
Let me find actually a trade that I dislike. Freaking the Voyagers getting robbed of just everything for basically nothing. For that Diablos trade. I mean, that was terrible. And then for a while, I was against your trading number one pick, just with how good this class is. And I think I think he made a really smart move. You trade back as to where there's not as much pressure on you, and we all know that in the RFL the classes are almost always good, and that like there's always a couple just all out all stars in each class. So you got a third round pick this year too, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
so you are set for a while now. Um, the Aaron Pritchett and Chum Lee trade, that was a great one by Connor. I was about to say I hate Connor, but I don't like Aaron Pritchett coming to the NFC just because I know how good he is, and that's not fun. So, I mean, I liked all of my trades, and I dislike the ones that help the other teams. So,
Yeah, I think back to what I was saying about the picks that I have next year. I the closest one I think that will be top 10 is probably the Condors because Bookie lost a lot of players. I mean a lot, so he's probably kicking himself right now for making that trade. But again, it wasn't his fault, and I agree to an extent that he should get first dibs on free agency like after the draft. But
I
to an ex-
even yeah, I know what you mean, but I'm pretty sure he gets all of. I know he gets most of his top guys back. Um, so I mean he's at 66 overall, but he um he gets a lot of his big name guys back. He gets his one great wide receiver. He gets McCoy back. He gets a stud defensive lineman. and I think he gets a couple of linebackers back. So it's not like they're gonna. And then he does. Yeah, he does get first dibs on free agency, I think, but we'll see. Um, Condors will probably be at the same level that they were last year, if not, but maybe just a bit worse. We'll see.
Yeah, I think like I said, to an extent to where like sign positions that he needs. Just don't go crazy and sign like anybody. Like he needs to go after positions that he needs and not sign say like a quarterback because I think he has a backup quarterback. But there's kind of somebody I want that I'm not going to mention. But I could draft the guy I want, but I don't know. I'll have to see what I'm going to do. But who are you targeting in the draft? Without you don't have to say who you're drafting because we all have kind of our own plans here. But who are guys that you are targeting? I know you traded back to the 27th pick, I think.
No, we
So
traded that one away too. So we have a second rounder now, and we traded that for our new left tackle. That was Quacko, which good job, Justin. He's killing it, by the way. But in the second round, a big need of ours is that front seven. So I mean, position group wise, it's gonna be probably a linebacker draft when we start off the second round. We'll see who's there, and I'm definitely excited for what you guys will see when it comes to the draft.
gotta say, I'm my hands are tied right now with the first pick I'm taking. I'm kind of interested in Jack Higgins, but I don't think he's gonna fall that far. If he does, that'd be great. Mark another guy. If he falls to like no, number 20, then yeah, I'll take him. But that isn't gonna happen. So I think one of the guys we can roll out is Mark's guy, Dexter Smith. I don't think he's gonna fall that far. I think one of the RFL teams, the one that's not like controlled, I think we'll take him. Jack Higgins is like big on my board, but I don't think I'm gonna get him. So I'm prepared either way. But say one of your guys that you're planning to draft falls in the first round for some weird reason. Who are do you have a backup plan, or are you just gonna roll with it, roll the dice, and take a guy you didn't scout?
Um, everyone after we trade away 27, I've shifted my focus completely from guys that are projected to go in the first round, just because to me, once you get past maybe even like a top three of linebackers, it falls off drastically. So we're definitely my focus is gonna have to shift if one of those guys that I do look at does get taken in the first round, which would kind of surprise me. But I think I have a good board of guys that I know should be there when my pick is there because I pick at 35, I think. Yeah, either 35 or 36 in that second round. Basically a second round, or basically like a first round pick. So, we still got a bit until we can actually scout. So, still, still just trying to work out some things about drafting who I really want to go after.
Mm, that's nice. What I'm trying to do is like I'm trying to see what I need the most. Right now, it's probably linebacker. That's probably what I need the most. But I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. I'm not going linebacker first. I'm not going linebacker first. I think there are other needs. Offensive line is certainly one of them, but I don't think I want to go offensive line in the first round. I think the guys are fine, but we'll definitely have to see what's on the board. Another question I have for you is how do you think the NFC, our division, how do you think they'll do? Just from best to worst.
Um, this is I have high hopes for my team, so I want to put them at first, and I will. I think it's gonna be close though. I got the Elks at 10 and 10-6, and then I got the Gunners at 10-6, and then Steamers either 8-8 or 9-7, and then the Crusaders just suck. So like 5-11.
I've said this in previous podcasts too. I think the Crusaders aren't good, but when you get into the later seasons and you have to play them, they could play spoiler. So we have to watch them and see. And it's the teams like this that nobody is talking about at all. This is the teams that scare me because we don't know who they have. It's kind of like the Titans beating the Eagles back in week 3 or 4, whichever one it was. But you didn't know who the Titans had at all. Like they were just under the radar, and then they just beat the Super Bowl champs, who back then, like during that in that season, like earlier this season, were kind of on a roll. But they kind of fell off now. But so these are the kind of the teams that scare me. What do you think?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but this is, this is kind of what I think. Um, that shouldn't happen. If you're a good team, a team like that should never beat you. And I know it happens and stuff, but if you want to be taken seriously, you can't get beat by a team. Even if it's like if it's close, I kind of understand it. But if you're trying to win your division, you can't lose games to the worst team.
Or division rival teams?
Yeah.
But I, I that's interesting where you came from there. That's interesting. Put the best team in our division is 10-6. I kind of have the complete opposite. I think, well, not maybe not the complete opposite. Nobody's gonna win this division at 6-10. That would be like really bad. But talk about the worst division in the RFL. But I think the Gunners have it at 12-4. But but I think that is a big overstatement. I think maybe the Gunners do it at 10-6, 11-5. I'm gonna say 11-5, but everyone is expecting a 12-4 season out of them, especially with Jabri coming off an MVP season. So I think the Gunners have it at 11-5. I could see the Elks going 10-6, but I think they struggle too. It's this is all just my opinion, of course. But I can see the Elks going 10-6. The Steamers probably you're probably right in there, probably 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. I don't think we go 9-7. I don't think we're going to be that good, but I think 8-8 is probably accurate. And the Crusaders, I think, go 5-11.
Yeah. I mean, the confident side of me wanted to say, yeah. The Elks are good enough to go 12-4, which maybe we get lucky and we do. And now, if we get lucky, I think we get 13-3. I think our ceiling, our ceiling is 12-4, and our floor is 9-7. I don't think we go below that or above that without something bad happening. But again, I think Smitty said it, but the Gunners, we saw them in Madden 19, and they didn't look great. They I don't know if I want to say overrated, but they did not look great against the Snowhawks. They didn't look great against the Thunderbirds. And I know they went 15-1, but what happens when What happens if Jabri gets hurt? What happens if one of their star players gets hurt? That is it for them. I don't think they have the depth, and I don't think that they're equipped well enough to do it again, especially with how good our division's gotten.
Yeah, I think if Jabri gets hurt, I think it's over for them. I do see if one of their receivers goes down, I do see it, it possibly being like an okay moment. I see a little bit of Tom Brady and Jabri mixed with Aaron Rodgers, so that's deadly. So we're gonna have to watch. I could see the Steamers. I think the Steamers split with them. I know we're gonna. It's probably not gonna be a great year for the Steamers, but I think we split. I also think we split with the Elks. Uh, I think we beat the Crusaders twice. Uh, all of these games I think are going to be close. I don't see us blowing out any one of these teams. If we do, that'd be amazing. But it's not going to happen. So we're not there yet. But all right. So that's 2-0, 3-1. So I think that's 4-2, correct?
If you split with the Gunners, you split with the Elks, and you beat the Crusaders. Yeah, that's 4-2.
All right. So where do you see your team landing? I think 4-2 for the Steamers. I think it would be pretty accurate, but yeah, again, I've been wrong before. So where do you see your team division record wise?
Um, do I dare say 6-0? But then that's on the record, so let me don't go 6-0. I say I think we can go 5-1. I think if we do lose, it's probably to the Steelers and maybe the Gunners. We're definitely beating the Crusaders. You can quote me on that. Um, yeah, either a loss to the Steamers or the Gunners, and I think that loss is a close loss. But 5-1 would be amazing, especially if it goes, especially if we sweep the Gunners. That would be sweet.
I'm going to shock a lot of people here. I think the Gunners get a loss to the Crusaders.
I could see it.
I,
Anything
I,
can
I
happen.
don't think it's completely impossible, especially since they lost a lot on the defense. But I think a loss to the Crusaders. Uh, I think that's one of their 5 losses. I do think the Gunners have a chance to go 5-1 in the division, or 6-0. I think they have a shot at doing it. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it'd be the first time in RFL history that a team has done that.
Um,
Did the Gunners lose to a divisional team when they went 15-1?
they lost to the Shamrocks, so
So
they 6-0 last year.
wow, I could definitely see them doing it again, but it depends on the strength of their schedule. Like I said, nothing is set in stone. If they have a tough schedule, then it's they could go 10-6. But who do you see is the underdogs coming into the 2018 season?
AFC and NFC.
AFC and NFC.
Okay.
I understand the AFC is going to be a little bit hard, but just do your best.
I'm gonna say. I think. I think it can be the Explorers, and I think it could be the Pioneers. Also the Shamrocks. There's some great teams, and a lot of teams just got better. And other than that's on the NFC and more like teams that I want to see win. The Snowhawks aren't really an underdog, but they'd be nice to see do something. And then trying to think of all the teams. The Tigers, they could surprise some people, play spoiler, and maybe even the Desperados. I don't know. We would just have the. I guess the slogan for this season is just wait and see.
Wait and see. I love it. Uh, who is your biggest rival this season?
You.
Me. uh, okay. Let's try this again. Non-divisional.
Ooh. The Diablos. I want to beat them so bad.
So you would say they're your biggest rival?
Yeah.
All right, Ethan. Before we end this podcast, I just want to say to you and to Justin, the rivalry between the Elks and the Steamers is back on.
Oh, I'm ready. I am so ready.
And that will be the conclusion for the Steamers podcast. I want to thank Ethan for having him on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. Can't wait for the season. The rivalry's back on, and let's get this W.
Go Elks.